friend of mine, very, very smart man, tell me, like, culture is literally just what groups of people do. Like, that is what culture is. It's like, I'm Italian, so Christmas that we do 7 fishes, or I'm Polish, so we eat a certain food. That's just culture, right? Culture is what a group of people do. Like, this gaming culture. People like to game on Discord and this, that, and the other. So culture is really just a study of what people do and how they exchange ideas.
Right. At some level, that's not wrong, and it's also not exactly right. But what's cool about that definition is it makes you ask yourself a question. Well, even if that were true, if culture is what people do, then what tools are appropriate to the study of that object? I mean, one of the fascinating things about the human sciences, well, the natural sciences as well, is that every new major advance started with some innovation in technology, and specifically like instrumentation. So, before people invented the microscope, Hans van Leeuwenhoek or whatever, I probably butchered that, but so historians of science don't hate me. It's been a long time since I read that stuff. But some guy invented, ground glass to make lenses and put them together in a particular way and made a microscope. And now all of a sudden we could see things that we couldn't see before. And it's like, oh, maybe there are these invisible organisms that are alive, and maybe that's what's making you sick. Maybe it's not just the witch doctor or, something else. So every new advance in the instrumentation that allows us to see differently has been followed by a fairly revolutionary change in what we think we're looking at. And I think at some level that's also true for humanity. In fact, I wrote something, you mentioned ChatGPT, and I wrote something about AI the other day. And I basically said, I think the greatest threat that AI poses to humans is not what we've been talking about. It's not that it's going to, somehow the robots are going to kill us. It's not threatening our lives. It's not even threatening our livelihoods because we're adaptable and, trucks didn't put horses out of business completely. I think it's a threat to, and I'm okay with this, by the way, I think it's a threat to who we think we are. See, regardless of any of those scientific revolutions that I just alluded to, we've persisted in this idea that humans are unique and special and have this kind of place of utmost significance in the grand scheme of things. And I just don't think that's true. But most of us haven't been willing to go there. So I think, and I won't get into the whole rant about it, but basically what I was saying was ChatGPT or, these large language models' ability to perform these linguistic feats that just blow us away is going to be more troubling because we thought that we were the only ones that could do that. We thought we were the only ones with language and consciousness. And, really all that is stringing together words in particular ways to tell stories about ourselves.
Right.
So now that an algorithm can do that, we're like, oh my God, maybe we're not that special.
It is a bit of a threat, but it's as a point to us being special. I mean, can you really blame people thinking we're special? I mean, planet Earth, as far as we know, in the solar system and the galaxies, we are the only being that can communicate like this. Dolphins have the way of communicating, but not to the extent that we do. We are a very special and unique animal on this planet. So, yeah, even though, yes, AI can do these things, it is created by people still.
Right.
But, I mean,
so
we are
people
special because what compares to us, the way we do it and the way we are intelligent and communicate on the planet?
So the short answer is we couldn't possibly know because we're trapped inside our paradigm. So we don't know. But to your first question, do I blame people? No, I don't actually blame people for anything. Honestly, my moral philosophy is really like, as far as we know, we are one species amongst many, but all human beings are members of a single species. So, and we don't live like that. We don't act like that. We don't take care of each other like that. But given that we are, in fact, one species on this rock spinning through space in the middle of nowhere, could we please just not be assholes to each other? Like, is that too much to ask?
It is. It is. Unfortunately, it is.
Okay, well,
I don't know
why. I guess
why,
I should lower
but
my expectations. Fair enough.
Well, it comes through, again, with anthropology. It comes through the clash of society and culture. Now, you mentioned like the technology's changing culture. I would say the technology's changed society more. Like the invention of the wheel, did that really change culture? Did it change society? Or are those terms interchangeable?
So those terms are both trapped in a 19th century paradigm for viewing, the objects of analysis. And I think there are things certainly that are appropriately labeled within the realm of the social, and other things in the realm of the cultural. And at some level, it doesn't, I'm not an academic anymore by choice. And so, I just don't worry about splitting hairs about stuff. But, different sciences defined their object in specific ways in the 19th century. So sociology said, we're the people who are the experts in society, and anthropology said, we're the experts in culture. And, linguistics in its early days defined language in a very particular way, such that the new science of linguistics was the appropriate science to study this object. So it's just games of knowledge, games of truth, and it's all fine. It's not worth getting hung up over, unless you're, somebody said once about elite academic life that the infighting was so severe because the stakes were so small. So, if you got 3 people in the ivory tower who get themselves worked up over these things, I think the rest of us shouldn't worry too much.
I agree. I think generally we're going to be okay. I mean, some people aren't going to be okay as time goes on, but that's, survival of the fittest has always been a thing. It's not going to stop now because we have technology.